What's up, guys? Capricious Conch here. I'm here with my friend Ryan Lemon. We're going to be discussing Donald Trump and the media frenzy surrounding him. So, well, just let's get us started on Donald Trump, Ryan. Throw something out there.
Alright, well, first of all, there's the whole idea that he's racist. But if you ever look at any of the videos and interviews he did before he started the presidential race, do you ever see one instance of racism or anything like that in there?
No. They totally just grab on anything, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's talk about how the media has been totally attacking him.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
yeah, and you can tell that this is all, like, orchestrated by them, because it's the exact opposite of what Obama's campaign was. You couldn't say shit about Obama. Why? Because he's black. Doesn't matter if his policies are bad. Doesn't mean if what he's doing is going to mess things up.
I feel like that's the only reason they picked him, too.
Absolutely.
Well, that and being corrupt.
Yeah, they knew who he was. His family was fucking part of the system. And they knew they could have him as their perfect guy who'd be like, oh yeah, he looks good on paper. He's black. You can't say shit about that.
He has a good speaking voice.
Yeah.
Almost as good as Hitler.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, Trump, it's like, they won't say a good thing about him. But like at the same time, it's like, is the media trying to paint Trump in a bad light because Trump's a good guy? Or is the media trying to paint Trump in a bad light because they know that nobody trusts him anymore and he's actually he actually is a bad guy? You know? I think really the media basically wants to play both sides because whether he's a bad guy or not, they just want to get us to have doubt. It's basically like entertainment for people. Like they're so caught up in this whole, like the election itself was pure entertainment.
Oh yeah.
It was no better than the McGregor-Mayweather fight. It's all rigged.
Yeah.
You know, it's between two chosen representatives that already, like, their families are friends. It's just pathetic. And then not only that, they don't talk about anything real in the campaign.
No.
It's all about, oh, she did this, he did that.
Trash talking.
There's nothing at all of substance.
No, and there never was meant to be. In fact, Trump, if you look at some of his actual speeches, it's obvious why he got elected. He was the only one with any substance.
Yeah.
It's just like Clinton was obviously just a shill for the system. Yeah. And she thought she could get away with it. She's just,
did she though, or was it all just part of the orchestrated plan? It just seems like a big play to me.
Honestly, I feel like at that point they didn't care whether she won or not. It was just part of the ploy because she still has more power than fucking.
The way I see it, it's like if you're in a dynasty, you know, you're like, your father's the king and you had 50 children and you're all on the same side, but you're really just warring princes fighting for control over your throne, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, they set it up, you know, either one of you can win, we're both going to use you for the same means, but which one of you, wants it more? Which one of you is going to be a better manipulator?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, there's also the whole idea behind that it's just like, that if you have, like, in your example, the dynastic, like, situation, if you have, like, the father who's at the head has, like, one kid they want to succeed over another kid, and they see how things are going, they might very well put the kid they don't like in power because they know it's going to be a bad era for the person in power.
Yeah. It's literally a capitalist dynasty. Yeah. Like, nobody even knows about it. Like, if we knew, I'm surprised that we know the names of families that we know are corrupt, and we know are in control, and they're still alive. It's kind of sad. Yeah. Like, not that I advocate killing anyone, but, like, really?
Yeah. Like Karla Homolka now teaching children. Where's fucking this obvious miscarriage of Canadian justice?
Who's Karla Homolka?
She was this fucking woman who helped her boyfriend rape and torture and kill a bunch of teenage girls, and then made a deal to sell her boyfriend out before they found out that she was involved in it. And after she made the deal, it was just, oh, yeah, okay, you're out scot-free though. They made the deal.
You ever watched that movie? Law-abiding citizen? Yeah. The two criminals, the one real guy who's a real fucking pervert and, like, evil dude, fucking rapes this guy's wife and kid, and then he has another guy with him who doesn't agree with it at all, but doesn't go out against him because he's afraid of this guy or whatever, you know? And then when it comes down to the trial, the guy who committed all the real crimes sells out the other guy for a settlement, and the guy who wasn't even really barely involved, he goes to prison and the other guy walks. Yeah. You know? I really hope the world adopts a law-abiding citizen type of approach and does something about it.
Pretty much. Yeah, it is ridiculous how, like, obviously bought and paid that system is, and people still go along with it. You know, knowing that they could very well be victimized by it.
It's like, I find it so difficult when I meet new people to just assume that people are stupid and brainwashed. I don't assume that at all, but it's like,
you kind of have
it's
to.
almost a problem because, like, you know, I make friends with everybody. I really like people on the whole, but like, I have to wonder sometimes, you know, who really is brainwashed. Like, I don't usually end up having these deep conversations with people because, you know, we're talking about health and wellness and stuff, but like, it really makes me wonder what percentage of people actually are like inclined to believe all this shit. And it's like, I really wish that there was like a little yellow blinker above their head so I could just identify them and not speak to them as a friend, but then approach them and actually try and talk to them about this type of shit. Because I'd really like to interview these people and talk to them.
Yeah, about what got them to believe this stuff and why. Yeah.
I don't even care what got them to believe it. I don't even care about that. I just want to tell them some shit.
Yeah.
And then watch how they still believe it, even though they have the facts. Because that's what happens every time.
Absolutely.
And I don't understand how people can be so brainwashed. They can be presented with the facts, and they still don't accept it.
A big part of it is, I was talking with my mom about this too, is that the fact that like everything has become so forced on fast pace. Like, you gotta drive to get to work. You know, you gotta get through.
And the news too. They barely show you a clip of something questionable before it's on to the next 5 controversial things.
And exactly, and that's all orchestrated because they know that if you're doing things all the time, you don't have time to think, and it teaches you not to think. So that when you're presented with this,
you just accept everything. You know that the news lies, but because it's inconvenient for you to be able to research every billion things if you watch the news every day, or even for one day, you just basically accept everything, even knowing that the news is corrupt.
It's not even that people accept it, it's they're literally not willing to think about it, or even able to think about it.
There's doubt, but they lean towards believing it's true.
They're like,
people still believe the majority of what's in the news is true, rather than the majority is false. Personally, I believe 90% of it's probably false. 90% of everything on Wikipedia has been proven to be false. So what does that even mean? Like, if you guys want to watch, it's called astroturfing. Google or YouTube a video on astroturfing. I also just do Google, Wikipedia, anything. But YouTube the video on astroturfing. Basically, astroturfing is a false grassroots movement. So they're taking people that, you know, they seem like ordinary civilians speaking out against injustice, and really they're just performing this false grassroots movement to encourage people to believe that, oh look, these people said it, and they weren't in the news, they weren't in the government, so it must be true because they're speaking out against something. Like, I literally can't speak out against anyone on Facebook without being labeled as like a total idiot. It's like, and like I'm doing some sort of injustice. It's like people automatically ally with the defender because they assume that if you're attacking someone, you're evil, you know? But like, there's so much evil just in plain sight. It's hard not to attack it, but you attack any of it, and they just paint you as this
that's like, the whole idea.
Person.
That's the whole idea behind social justice and fucking emasculating people.
Social justice literally is this astroturfing thing. You know? And social justice warriors, whatever, it's a gay fucking term. Which
you can
might
tell.
Not PC,
you can tell.
It should be something good, but it's not.
Yeah, you can tell how big they think they are simply through the use of that name. We're the friggin' warriors of social justice.
Although, like, if you look at it from, I guess, a yogic perspective, or spiritual perspective, you know, we're like a student and then a warrior, you know, that's just that. But, like, in terms of social justice warriors, I think there's a few different categories, you know? There's the people that know they're doing the wrong thing and they're bought and paid for, and they're being paid to fuck with people and to obscure the truth and to say the wrong things and to be offended by anything that's like at all truthful or on the right path. There's the people that are, I'm sure, being manipulated against their will, you know, and you know they know what the facts are, but they're being threatened or something. And then there's the social justice warriors that think they're doing the right thing because other social justice warriors have said similar stuff and created this basis for a cause of defense, and they think they're doing the right thing, but really they're just inflaming issues that are totally in the wrong direction in the first place.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All these ideas behind racism and stuff like that that are being touted by them are being created by them. It's all to create divisions. You know, the instant you say that somebody's like better because they're black, you're saying everybody else is worse because they're not black.
It's the same when people talk about beheading white people. It's like people aren't that stupid that they would experience racism on themselves and they would cause more racism by being racist towards white people. It just doesn't make sense.
No.
Like, I personally think people of other cultures and nations are probably a lot more intelligent than in North America.
Yeah.
I think news and media obviously plays a part around the world, but I think people are very effectively brainwashed in this continent. They've got it really down to a science.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't think anyone would be racist against like white people at all. You know, obviously there's white people that are doing the right thing. Like, it doesn't take like a brain in your head to see it.
Yeah.
You know. Like,
but that's
it just doesn't make any sense.
Oh, that's another thing that they like to do is they like to make it between groups of people.
It's all divide and conquer.
Yeah, and it also shifts all the focus from individuals who are the people really in charge of this shit. Fucking individuals.
It's just like the elite playing the game of lower class versus middle class.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's like the whole George Carlin video where he's talking about like the purpose of the three classes, and it's like the upper class is there to control everything, lie to you, and take all your money. The middle class is there to work for the rich people's money,
and to blame everything,
pay the taxes, and to blame things on. And then there's the poor people, or the lowest class, who exist to scare the shit out of the middle class.
And to blame everything else on.
Yeah, exactly. And you can really tell that that's the way they're going with like the lower class, with like fucking fentanyl and all that shit being introduced and like fucking.
It's really fucked up. I can't believe that people prescribe methadone. Like, kratom does a similar thing that methadone does. You know, it's non-harmful. Well, this isn't necessarily similar to methadone. It's non-harmful. It's non-addictive, you know, and it does a similar thing to opioids to your brain. Yeah. So it prevents, you know, cravings and
the
withdrawal symptoms. But it does everything right. It's non-addictive.
Yeah.
You know, it's fucking dirt cheap. It's legal, you know. But so why are we prescribing people methadone? But no, there's no focus on kratom. And like even within society, nobody's willing to take new drugs. Like, I found a great use in kratom, and I barely use kratom at all.
Yeah.
I just think it's interesting. I don't personally need it, but I think it's great. I've used it like probably 5 times, and it's not addictive at all.
Right.
It's great. Gives you lots of energy.
Yeah.
A little bit of a crash the next day if you burn a lot of energy.
Yeah.
But it's great. You know, it helps achieve clarity of thought. It helped me quit marijuana when I was smoking that.
Sure.
And it's great. So why are people being prescribed methadone, you know?
Yeah.
You go into a methadone clinic, there's like 7 of them in Peterborough.
Yeah.
There's now needle drop-offs downtown.
There's more
town
than
hall.
7 now in Peterborough.
It's bad.
Yeah.
And you go in, a nurse puts a needle in your arm, and they know that methadone is lethal if used with alcohol. But alcohol is one of the most prevailing drugs on the market today.
Yeah.
It's literally given to you, sold by the government, along with cigarettes.
Yeah.
Which, like, you know, they tell you cigarettes are bad, but they're still, the government still is controlling them.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
It's the government just showing they don't give a fuck, you know?
And the government won't allow anyone to operate anything like an LCBO either.
No.
But they have full control on alcohol, and they know it fucks you up. They know it makes you aggressive and subservient. They know it gives you liver and kidney damage.
That's profitable,
it shouldn't even be legal.
Yeah.
And they know it inflames people and causes fights, and you know, takes the doubt of, like the negative doubt of racism. People doubt that people of other cultures and religions are good, and it inflames them and causes them to do like real acts of terrorism. You know, an act of terrorism to me is, you know, an act of racist violence.
Yeah.
You know, But of course, on top of that, an act of terrorism is something made to frighten the public.
Yeah.
Like I was talking with Barney yesterday about. Did you see on the news about that truck running over 8 people? It's like, yo, this is an act of terrorism. They're trying to break our spirits. You know, like, you know, the guy's dead, right? So they can't interview him. They don't know anything about him. How the fuck can you say it's an act of terrorism?
They're saying
for all they know, somebody could have run him off the road accidentally or intentionally. But they just assume it's racism. They assume it's terrorism. You know, it just doesn't make any sense. They're literally willing to take any issue and paint it in some corrupt light to make it look like racism, terrorism, or some sort of social issue. And it's bad driving, or it's some false flag terrorism, or they ran this guy off the road.
Or the fucking guy's on his cell phone when he's supposed to be paying attention, you know? Could have been simple as that.
Exactly. Yeah. And like, I'm not going to be racist or anything, but like, I don't think that, you know, people come from other countries and they have very lax driving laws. You know, I'm not going to say them as a people, them as a culture, as a race are bad at driving or they don't care about killing people, but like they don't have as good of driving laws, I don't think, or as good of driving education. So there's that, right? That's not racist, that's just a fact.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you know, truck drivers are working so many hours. You know, all you have to do is be tired and be distracted, and this shit can happen all the time, and it does. Yeah. You know, not to mention that trucks can barely stop. They can't stop on a dime. They stop way slower than cars.
Yeah, especially if they're on the hill.
And people don't know that, so, you know, they're trying to hold back against trucks being aggressive drivers by trying to hold their place, not realizing that the trucks can't stop well, and the trucks run right over them because they can't do anything about it.
Yeah. But yeah, it is, well yeah, it's all that stuff where they all claim it's like, oh, it's terrorism, we got no proof, but it's terrorism. It's like the friggin' stabbings in London. Apparently that was terrorism because the 3 guys were of Middle Eastern descent. I don't think it was fucking terrorism because it doesn't really look like that in any way, you know.
Any white death in the news is either labeled as terrorism or it's a cop killing so that they can show us, oh, cops kill white people too. Yeah, cops do kill white people if they're poor. Cops only kill people if they're poor, pretty much. Yeah. And the only time they're not going to kill people if they're poor is to show us that, oh, cops kill rich people too, you know? Yeah. And even then, they're probably only going to be killing rich people that, you know, don't agree with the motives of the elite. Yeah. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it really is.
So if we can go back to Trump and the media for a minute, just to end this video, probably getting close to 25 minutes. You know, what can we say in a closing statement about Trump? How should we feel about Trump and the media?
Basically, I would tell people, you know, do some research on it, look at all kinds of different things, and especially look for the discrepancies in what they say and what actually is. Because that's usually the best place you can start to look for what's real.
And it doesn't really matter if Trump is what they say he is, or he's a good guy or a bad guy or not, or should we just be treating him like he's a president and maybe not having full faith that whatever we say and whatever we ask for as, you know, citizens of North America is going to be done. You know, like, personally, I think that we should not assume that it's going to be done, but we should obviously be trying to work within politics to ask at least for the right thing to be done, to lobby for the right thing to be done. Yeah. Put a little bit of faith and not a lot of trust, you know?
Yeah, pretty much.